When Nissan launched the second generation 2018 Nissan Leaf in September last year, there was some exasperation in the electric car world about some of the engineering choices Nissan had made. Principally among them was the frustration that Nissan had chosen to use passive air cooling for the 2018 Leaf's 40 kilowatt-hour battery pack, physically taking up the same space as the original 24 kilowatt-hour battery pack and the later 30 kilowatt-hour battery pack of the first generation Nissan Leaf. The lack of passive air cooling has meant that Nissan's onboard battery management system now nannies the battery pack when charging to ensure that the cells inside don't get too hot and suffer the same premature battery aging as Nissan's first generation Leafs have in the past. And that, as I'm sure many of you will know, has led to the infamous Rapid Gate, where a 2018 Nissan Leaf will charge quite happily and quickly from a 50 kilowatt DC quick charging station once on a long road trip, but then after that throttles back charging power, thus dramatically extending charge time on subsequent rapid charging stops on the same trip. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of passive and active cooling for battery packs in this video, but there is a video on the channel already about that, so I'm going to put a link in the description below. Whichever way you look at it though, the lack of decent battery cooling and thermal management on the new 2018 Leaf has been a pill for anyone considering buying one, especially if they want to make longer distance trips in their car. Even at the launch of the 2018 Leaf last year, Nissan, though, was promising a longer range version of the same car would launch this year, offering better performance than the 2018 model. While Nissan hasn't officially confirmed specifications yet, leaked specs from earlier this year, which claim to be from a Nissan presentation, suggest the car, called the Leaf E+, will have a 64 kilowatt-hour battery pack from LG Chem, a more powerful 160 kilowatt electric motor, and a range in excess of 225 miles, or 400k per charge. The same leaked specs also suggest that the car will have an onboard charger capable of between 11 and 22 kilowatts of charging speed, as well as offer DC quick charging capabilities in excess of 100 kilowatts. That would not only put the Leaf E+ in competition with the Chevrolet Bolt and Tesla Model 3, but it would also, reportedly, do away with the battery worries of the 2018 Leafs, since the LG Chem battery pack would be using an active-cooled thermal management system. Ordinarily, of course, I'd not base a video simply on rumoured specs, as they're often not true. But last week, Swiss electric car charging station manufacturer EV Tech released some pictures on Twitter of what it claims is a new generation Leaf with 60 kilowatt-hour battery charging at a blistering 102 kilowatts. The picture, shared on Twitter, shows the car's battery pack is at 32% full at the time of the photo, suggesting that these rumours we've been hearing are in fact true. Which leads me to the question I'm wanting to answer in this video. Should you wait for a 2019 Nissan Leaf rather than buy a 2018? The answer does depend on your personal circumstances, but I'm going to err on the side of caution here and say yes. At least, I'm going to say yes with some qualifiers. You see, that increased spec is likely to increase the price, making the upcoming 2019 Nissan Leaf E+, if that's indeed what Nissan's going to call it, more expensive than the current 2018 Leaf models. And based on what we've heard in the past from Nissan, the Nissan Leaf E+ will be sold alongside the current 40 kilowatt-hour Leaf, giving customers a choice of which model to buy. When I test drove the 2018 Leaf in California at the start of this year, I was impressed by its build quality and feel. It felt more like a standard family car than previous generation Leafs and other EVs, although I did note that it wasn't as quick as the Bolt or Model 3. That's not to say it wasn't fast, it did shift when you asked it to, but the throttle response was markedly different to its competitors. ProPilot, as I've already noted, felt a bit like a gimmick, but other than that, I liked the new Leaf. Yet with Nissan known to have problems with thermal management in the past, I said at the time I didn't feel able to recommend one wholeheartedly. Then more recently, when I drove a 2018 Leaf in the UK and experienced Rapid Gate for myself firsthand, there is a video on the way. The lack of thermal management made me feel that the battery was the Achilles heel of the whole car. That's not to say it's a bad car, it's just a car that you can't really take on long distance trips without some serious compromises due to that thermal throttling when charging. If this new 2018 Nissan Leaf E+ solves that issue with a thermally cooled battery pack adds a longer range per charge and gives the Leaf better performance, then this new version of Nissan's popular EV could help Nissan recover from some pretty big negative press from Rapidgate. If you don't want a longer range and don't want to rapid charge, well, go ahead and get the current one. You'll probably get a decent deal. Personally though, I'd want to wait because these rumoured specs are looking pretty competitive and seem to be the real deal. And that's it. Thanks for joining me and see you next time.